Welcome to W&L Sports Weekly. I'm Jeremy Franklin. This week we'll speak with men's soccer coach Mike Singleton, women's soccer captain Hollis Tardy, and volleyball captain Vicky Kazmierczak. But first, a quick look back at the weekend in Washington in the athletics. Volleyball extended its winning streak to 10 matches, improving to 11-1 overall by defeating Eastern Mennonite, Bridgewater, and Meredith. Field hockey maintained its perfect start at home with wins over Sewanee and Washington College. Women's soccer also picked up a pair of victories, downing York on the road before returning home to rally past St. Mary's. Men's soccer defeated Virginia Wesleyan 2-1 at Watt Field, and football lost 31-28 on a last-second field goal in its home opener against Claremont Mud Scripps. Both tennis teams opened the season at the Mary Washington Kickoff Classic, highlighted by Brooke Donnelly's 2-0 performance in the women's #1 singles flight. Men's golf tied for 8th at the Division III Fall Preview in Florida, and women's golf placed 7th at DePauw's Dan Quayle Classic. Joining me in the studio is men's soccer coach Mike Singleton. Mike, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Last fall, Washington and Lee won its first ODAC title since 2000. The Generals advanced to the second round of the NCAA tournament. How is the team looking to build off of that success in 2016?
Well, it's a very different year for us as far as expectations go. And last year we came in, we were hoping to be competitive in the conference with a very young team and a lot of new players. And now that we had that success last year, the expectations this year are far different from what we went into last year. So the guys are very committed to trying to repeat as conference champions and also hoping to get to the NCAA tournament again. And if we do, we're hoping to be lucky enough to get further into the tournament this year. And that brings a very different pressure on this team than last year. We were hoping to win the conference tournament, and now they're expected to win the conference tournament. So how we deal with that pressure and sort of the targets on our chests that we'll face every week is going to make this year very challenging for our guys.
Those targets may even be maybe even bigger right now. You've beaten a couple of nationally ranked opponents, Oneonta State and Ohio Wesleyan. You now ranked yourselves in both Division III national polls. I know it's September, there's a long way to go, but what does that recognition mean to the W&L program?
Well, it's very flattering to be thought of on a national level by peers and by the people who pick those polls. At the same time, we have to take it with a grain of salt because it is September. So it's great that people appreciate the hard work that we've put in thus far and the good wins that we've had thus far as well. But ultimately, the only poll that really matters is the one that comes out at the end of the season. So hopefully we can keep going game by game, making sure we improve our play, and hopefully our highest ranking will be in the last one of the year.
There's been a change to ODAC scheduling this season, and the win over Virginia Wesleyan on Saturday was technically a non-conference game. How do you expect the new format to impact the conference race?
Well, part of the change of format was intended to be helpful to the teams, to make it so we could go out of the conference and schedule some different opponents that might help us for our various goals. For us, we were able to schedule some of the top 20 opponents we did because of the reduced schedule. And that's going to make it where we might have more teams able to compete for getting into the national tournament. For us, it makes a different challenge because every point now matters because we don't have head-to-head competition against every team competing to host the championship or to place ourselves as well. So our conference is very typically separated by 1 to 3 points could separate the first to fourth place team. And now that we're not playing head-to-head, that means that goals against and goals for now become extremely important for us as we manage games going through the season, because that might determine who hosts the conference championship is just if you score one more goal than your competitor with the same amount of points.
As you said earlier, the Generals want to be playing their best soccer, achieve their highest ranking at the end of the year. What are you still looking to improve upon as the season goes along?
Well, we've had a good sort of week and a half of practice with just the one game, and that was built very specifically for us to make sure we could fire on all cylinders. And I think our attack is still developing, our rhythm, our tempo, and sort of the connectedness that we need to play. That's still a progress in the making. And then really connecting the lines from defense to midfield to attack and making sure on both sides of the ball that we're playing at our best at the same time, which has been inconsistent thus far in the season. So we keep plugging away. The guys have a great attitude, and hopefully each week we put a better performance out on the field and really show teams that we're still building, even in comparison to last year. And by the end of this year, we'll definitely be one of the national sort of title contenders.
Mike, thanks for joining us here. Best of luck the rest of the year.
Thank you very much, Jeremy.
With me now is Hollis Tardy, senior soccer captain from Dallas. Hollis, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Washington and Lee is 4-2 so far against a very competitive schedule. Overall, how pleased have you been with the first few weeks of the season?
Yeah, so 4-2, obviously we'd like to be 6-0, but I'm generally very happy with how our team's been doing so far. We have returned a lot of really good players from last year, people who made contributions last year and are back making contributions again. And on top of that, we have a great freshman class this year who has made an immediate impact and are seeing time on the field because of that. So yeah, happy with how we've done so far.
In addition to a fine career in soccer, you've played in 53 games for the lacrosse team and scored 26 goals during the spring season. How have you been able to compete at such a high level in 2 varsity sports at W&L?
Yeah, so I played soccer and lacrosse in high school, and that was something that I was excited about W&L, about the opportunity to continue playing both of those. I honestly, I do better in school when I have that kind of schedule, have to manage my time, and so yeah, so it's something that I have definitely enjoyed during my time here. My coaches are very supportive, so yeah, I'm very happy that I decided to play 2 sports at W&L.
W&L's first 2 conference games in soccer are coming up against Shenandoah and Roanoke. I know 2 big games for the team. How important is it to get off to a good start in league play?
Yeah, so Shenandoah and Roanoke were 2 of our 3 losses last season. We lost to Shenandoah in the season and then lost to Roanoke in the quarterfinals of the ODAC tournament. So those are obviously 2 big games that we need to get wins under our belt to start the ODAC off. And I mean, obviously we have the goals of winning the ODAC, and so those 2 first games are very important in that. It's important to get a good start and yeah, to achieve the goals that we have for this season.
You mentioned the ODAC championship as one of the goals. What are the team's expectations for this fall?
Yeah, I mean, expecting to win the ODAC, and after that to make a run in the NCAA tournament. I think that our team definitely has the potential for that this year. We have a very deep bench. That's something that we haven't had during my time here. We, just for an example of that, I would say last year around this time we would be playing 15, maybe 16 players per game, and this past weekend we played 20. So because of that, we are able to go harder and for a longer amount of time. And I think that's going to be something that really helps us later in the season when we see tough opponents, that we'll be able to really play our best for an extended amount of time and count on a lot of players on our team.
Hollis, thanks for joining us. Best of luck throughout the year.
Thank you.
I'm joined now by Vicky Kazmierczak, junior volleyball captain from Huntley, Illinois. Vicky, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
Entering Wednesday's match against Shenandoah, W&L is 11-1 on the season. What has fueled the team's great start?
I think we've done a good job of utilizing our time in the practice gym, especially in preseason, and that transferred really well to regular season practices. So it's really easy during season to kind of get boggled down by everything that being a student athlete entails. But I think we've done a good job of not letting that affect us and just going right into the practice gym and doing what we need to do to get 1% better, and that's really paid off come game time.
You got something special going on with the match against Shenandoah. Tell us about the team's involvement in Go for the Goal, as well as how people can support that cause.
Right, so the Go for the Goal Foundation is actually really special and awesome. It aims to help families and children who are dealing with pediatric cancer. So tonight, our match against Shenandoah, we're wearing gold laces, both us and Shenandoah, which I think is really cool that both teams can participate. The way people can get involved is we're taking donations at the game, and there's also a link that all of us have on our Facebook pages to our team donation site. And the General's website actually also has a splash page that you can go to and click on and donate to our cause. So it's a really cool opportunity for us to use all 16 of us as a team for something more than just winning a game or losing a game or having a good season. It allows us to reach beyond our community.
W&L normally spends a good portion of the season on the road, but this October the Generals will play 9 matches in the Warner Center. How exciting is it to have a more extensive home schedule this fall?
I'm actually really excited for it. It hasn't happened at all since I've been at W&L. There's just something about playing on your home court with your home crowd that really kind of propels you forward, and it's really a good thing that we're doing it our last month of regular season. One of our team goals is to host ODACs this year, so having 9 matches in October will really prepare us for having postseason in our home court.
The team has played well so far, but you've still got a vast majority of the schedule in front of you. What are the keys to maintaining this high level of play throughout the season?
Definitely what I said before, just maximizing our time in the practice gym and getting 1% better individually and as a team, where we've also been working on maintaining a relaxed but competitive atmosphere during matches. So just really maintaining that and keeping that progressing forward is really going to push us through. So I'm really excited to see how we progress throughout the season.
Vicky, thanks for joining us. Best of luck throughout the fall.
Thank you.
It's time now for a look at the upcoming weekend. 5 different W&L teams are slated to compete against Shenandoah on Saturday. Men's and women's cross country will take part in the Hornet Harrier meet. Field hockey plays host to Shenandoah, while both men's soccer and women's soccer take on the Hornets in Winchester. Also this weekend, golf will head to Ohio Wesleyan for the Gordon Collegiate Classic. For W&L Sports Weekly, I'm Jeremy Franklin. Thanks for watching.